we have the old style taillights, and we're gonna soon transform this back end quite a lot. We're gonna have to cut that much away.
Just trying to figure out how this motherboard works.
Please brace yourself, because I think this came out so frick. So in 3, 2, 1. I think this came out sick, guys. Hey, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're doing, as you saw on the clickbait, we're doing something really cool and something really stupid, because I'm usually that stupid. We're gonna build in new taillights for the old MK3, and they're actually from an ID.5, so that's an electric car. We have the old style taillights. I guess I tinted them out, and they look nice. And we're gonna soon transform this back end quite a lot. I went and purchased the full set of the right, the left, and the middle bar of the taillights, and they look awesome. But we're gonna soon find out if we're happy or not. And what I mean with that is if we're happy with how they are controlled, how they are powered, and I guess it's an electric car. So I dread that it's CAN bus, but I dread even more if it's lean bus. What I am gonna do is starting off with measuring the whole bar and see if it actually will be even possible to fit the middle bar into the back lid or trunk lid on the car. And yeah, let's see if I'm happy or not. And we're not happy at all. It's way too long. I'm gonna try to hold it up for you against the car so you can see how my vision is. I'm holding it up. Of course, it's not gonna be here, it's gonna be down below underneath that ridge. But if I place it somewhere in the middle, you're gonna see that it shoots out quite a lot on each side. And what the heck am I gonna do? So just instantly looking at the stuff that I have, I'm gonna have to be forced to cut into this. Take me the right way. This design looks awesome. I like what they've done with black, tuned and everything. But then you come to the emblem and it's just a big blab of white plastic. So what I think I'm gonna do is to actually cut this off here so I can save that amount of space, take it in, plastic weld from the backside, and use plastic epoxy to put them together again, and maybe use a much smaller emblem. And what the heck, I think the ID.7 has a lighted up emblem in the back, so I'm gonna go for the small one. And me and Matthias, we started taking them apart, and of course they are driven by not CAN. It's the cheapest way Volkswagen could produce this. This is actually lean bus, so that's like the cheapest way you could do. It works like CAN, but it's a cheaper version. So I think, Matthias, it's usually 5 volt.
Yeah.
And CAN is usually with isolated cables and twinned 2 cables. And I think
Lean bus is just 1.
And lean bus is just 1. So that's what I know about it. And we're gonna have a lot of problem getting the headlights or the taillights to actually work. But we're not gonna focus on that now. We're gonna focus to get these beauty puppies onto the car. I love the design and I love how they actually illuminate. But we're gonna try to get that one onto this old chassis. And the biggest problem is the centerpiece. And I think I'm gonna cut to another section when I actually modify them. So the clip is here.
So of course I taped up the distance that I have to cut away from the light bar to be able to fit it onto the trunk lid on my car. So we're gonna start up cutting off from the front to the back, and then let's see each other in a couple of seconds.
Okay, as you saw, I started cutting, and boom, the emblem is actually gone away. And look at that towards my hand. My hand is quite big, and that's the emblem that's on the back on the ID5s. What I did is I covered this with tape, because I'm gonna try to keep these in as pristine shape as possible. And yes, I'm gonna clear coat these with a little bit of black paint in it, just to darken them out, but not too much, because I need still the reflectors, I guess. And this is how it came out in the back. And yeah, that's the edge I want to meet with that edge on there. And I guess this is a plastic rod that goes from here all the way down here. And you have two diodes that are placed, one here and one there, I guess. That actually shines some light all over here. And to be able to do this, of course, I'm going to be forced to cut this somewhere, shorten this the whole way here, so these two ends can meet. So yeah, I cut a little bit too much here, and that's no problem, because luckily I'm going to be forced to shorten this, so I have to take away a little bit of this distance. But it's not going to be easy. I'm going to have to plastic weld them together. But on the side where you actually have the lens, you can't plastic weld them. You have to use like the plastic epoxy to fuse these together. So I'm gonna have to sand these to perfection on both sides, put them down together like that, and then glue them. Of course, that's gonna be upside down. But I'm gonna start with taking care of this, finding out what power it needs, to see if I even can get them to illuminate. And I have a lot of QR codes on this side, so maybe that could give me some hint. And me and Matthias, we cut up the center, or where all the lights are, and there were a bunch of just motherboards, and we have them here. So this is one of them, and this is what we're trying to figure out, how we can power up the taillights and everything. And we're gonna work on a solution for that. I don't know really yet how to do it. It's three motherboards that are connected to each other in that little casing, but we cut it out to get it out and see how it actually works. And now we realized, so if Matthias, if you take the other one and you take the right side, Houston, we have a little problem, because I think we're gonna, if I'm gonna put mine behind yours, we're gonna have to cut that much away from the centerpiece to get it to fit with the lines on the trunk, as you can see here. Because if we would match it together with each other, with the emblem and stuff like that, that would be the end of the centerpiece, and we would have the tail light then sticking out somewhere here. So I'm gonna have to cut it up, slice it up, and shorten it to fit it on the trunk. But what me and Matthias are gonna do now is we're gonna cut up my nicely done back trunk, because this is actually really modified. You have originally a big emblem in the back here, and then you have the license plate holder here. But back in the days when I built this car, I wanted it to be flush and nice. It is a really good looking trunk, right? Yeah. So, but we're gonna do it even nicer with some LEDs. Yeah, I know. It would be better to actually take
find an original one.
Yeah, I know, but that's even hard in Sweden now. The car's getting old. So, what do you say, Matthias? We start off cutting a little bit, piece by piece.
Piece by piece, yeah.
How do you say? Measure twice, cut once?
Yeah.
No. We don't do that here. Cutting!
So doing the measurements I need to do and marking, so I have something to cut after. So this is the first cut into the trunk lid, and now we're gonna measure out where the second line is gonna be, because we want the height of the centerpiece. And of course we're gonna cut it a little bit too tight in the beginning and then adjust it. Don't want to cut too much. As you can see, me and Matthias were trying to fit the center panel, and we're gonna move over also cutting out for the taillights, or the start of the cutouts. Yeah, just to get a grasp on how much work we need to do.
2,000 years later.
Moving forward with the taillights from the ID5 and ID4, I think, yeah.
You should know, you bought them.
Yeah, I know. ID4 and ID5, they have the same. You have 3 different versions, but what we're doing now is trying to fit it onto the car, and we're using round bars to make a skeleton. So Matthias been hard at work, and he's been bending these to perfection, so they are on the inside of the edge on the centerpiece, yeah, you saw that before. I cut it in half, took away the emblem, and then I'm gonna plastic weld them together and fuse them so we have a whole bar that lights up the whole way. I don't know, I didn't like it. It was plasticky and looked like an AliExpress thing. Sorry Volkswagen. But yeah, the skeleton. So we have 1 bar on each side, and now we're going to try to connect these 2 together so they don't shift. And I think we're going to try to spot weld the skeleton with the ramp onto the car so it doesn't move, and then maybe add some more fixation points. And then of course we're going to add the mounting point for the beauty bar in the back to the skeleton. So it's a little bit intricate work here, but we need to do the centerpiece first before we can add the right and left side to the chassis, because the centerpiece, the center point, or the mating point between the 2 taillights and the beauty light in the back, whatever we can call it, has to be perfect, and then we can start with a little bit of fabrication and modification of the body on the car, but that's going to be in the next video, so stay tuned for that one. So I think you already bent a little bit of bar here.
Yep.
And just to give you a reference, we want to make this skeleton quite sturdy in between here with some of these bars, and then we're gonna look how we're gonna fix this on the outer side. That's maybe gonna be the hard part, because we have to do it on the inside. We can't do it on the edge here, because this is the point that meets up with the other.
Yeah, this one's gonna show when you open the trunk.
Exactly. We don't want to have a bar here. We just want to see the metal edge and the paint, I guess. I guess we're gonna cut up some small pieces and try to weld this up.
2,000 years later.
Again, don't mind how I look, because I'm jumping into the sanding room and helping out Matthias.
Christian the Snowman.
The Christian the Snowman. But Matthias,
Yep.
just to break through, approximately how long time did the skeleton take? Just to give a perspective for everyone.
3 hours maybe?
3 hours doing a skeleton for the mid piece on the lighting bar. Okay, the middle section is quite easy, but we made this for the reinforcement of the whole holder, I would say. But then we're coming to the the problematic areas. This is on the inside of the light bar, and we need to have a secure ground for, I would say, the light bar to push into. But this is the whole skeleton, and now we're gonna try to go over to the car, and that's gonna be the next problem, because my trunk lid is not even close to even being something like the ID5, because this turns a lot. You have a really strong radius on this one, and mine is quite flat. But what the heck, we've been doing this quite a lot before. So what we're aiming for is now to spot weld in the skeleton with the bar on, and then we're gonna have to form out a plate section that goes from here the whole way up, that meets the point here, so we have a good flow. I don't want to risk by taking away this lip, because I think that's really not cute. I would say it's okay, it's cute. On the under part, on the OEM, I would say I checked an ID4 yesterday, and it goes from here and then in quite a lot and then straight. So we could do that, but me and Matthias, we are thinking about other idea, because I don't want to have the petrol filling neck still left on the side. That's gonna disappear. So a little bit American style. We're gonna put the American license plate holder here, and behind that we're gonna have a nozzle going right through into the trunk compartment that is pitch black, but we're gonna have a fuel cell, and we can refuel through not opening the trunk lid, because that's a rule that we have in Sweden. You cannot fuel up in your baggage compartment because of the fumes. So now, me and Matthias, I promise you, we're gonna spend another hour just getting the skeleton to sit where it should be, because we can't just mount it flush as we have done now towards the plate. It has to come up a little bit, because we need to have a little bit of space, because we cut the plastic off and we need to 3D print covers for the microchips and everything. That is on the underside.
We can't take this off.
No, so this part we need to save, because that's towards the rubber seal, and I don't want it to be more a caviar than it already is. And I have spoken too much now. So see you a little bit later when we have tacked it in and I guess started on the other taillight.
Yeah.
Yay! Update. So we need to update you guys. What we've been doing is the skeleton, as we showed you. Now we just spot welded on the skeleton and the beauty panel, or I can't make my mind up what this is actually called, but the centerpiece of the trunk is spot welded on, as you can see here. And now we know that it's dead center, it's in a good angle on the trunk, and now we have to set the side pieces. Matthias amazingly has done the skeleton to the left side, and yet again, quite intricate off the radius and stuff like that, but here you can see quite easy here, but the turn on the radius, that's the MF, you know. But we're gonna mount it, right? Yeah, so
It's the plan.
it's the plan. But we cut out as much as we think. I think I cut out too much. And yes, now you see the start of the wide body. And I don't know if this is the beginning of the video or if you have already seen this clip, but this is quite funny. Haha. That's the hard thing with YouTube, not showing too much, okay?
Not shooting in the correct order.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna TIG weld this also, and then we're gonna try to make the same skeleton for the right side, and then we're not gonna rush this too much from there, because we need to move it with the wide body. And as I said, I don't know if you already seen a clip on the wide body or not, but here you have a little treat. If not, it's
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. It's not much to say more. I think this is quite easy. We make the skeleton, and when we have center all the pieces and we're happy with that, we're gonna build the skeleton in with a lot of steel. We're gonna make it really easy for ourselves on the centerpiece. We're gonna go down. We're gonna go down quite deep into the trunk and then meet up with this panel. And then we're gonna do from this frame or from the round steel up to the edge in the wing. And as I said before, yes, it's a beautiful little piece up here, and I don't want to spoil it, or I don't want to move up the whole way here. And that's because of the endings on the chassis. Nothing else, right? It's quite easy. Forward.
Yeah. Easy, no.
Oh, okay. Not
Pretty straightforward.
straightforward. Sorry, that's the word. Okay. So jumping ahead in the future again, and I can tell you, I put my head to this. We took apart the tail lights, and I really tried to figure out how to power them up. And I also talked with a lot of guys at my daily work, the people who know CAN and Limbus, and I just came to the conclusion that I'm gonna power up the diodes with the resistance that they need. If you look at the back on the taillights, I can see the schematics of how many volts each section needs, and it took forever finding out which hub that powered which diodes. So I want to power up the diodes with like 5 to 10 volts. So what I need to find out now is how I can use a transistor using the 12 volt in the car, and I guess change the voltage from the 12 volt from the car out to the right input voltage into the taillights. But just look at how this is starting to look. So we finally have implemented the skeleton the whole way, and yes, I skipped a little bit, but I didn't have the time to film. But this is the plate that we talked about, going from underneath this ridge or this radius out to the skeleton, and now I just test fitted the tail lights and it coming together. And as you can see, yes, it looks funky with the wide body, but just stay tuned for the wide body kit videos that are coming in the future. You're not going to be disappointed, I promise you. So if you haven't seen the wide body process on the Golf, I'm going to put a link up here or a pin up here so you can watch the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more on this MK3 and a bunch of other stuff that we do here at Magas Design. But yet again, take a good look on how it now flows. As you can see, we did a drastic transformation on these sides because this was very square, and down below you can see now how I rounded off this edge to follow the taillights. So a reference for you, that's the old squarey MK3, and we cut away, we spliced away a little bit of a section, threw it together, and then now welded them together. Yes, of course, this is all not finished yet. This is just tacked up, and a little bit how I wanted to see how the integration of the taillights went. I guess I'm gonna now put in a little bit of a section, finding out which hubs and centrals that powered up which diodes. So I'm gonna put that in now.
First step is to moving the taillights into the oven. We're doing this at home, but yeah, that's the tools I got. So we're trying to use different piles, and I'm gonna advise you to use some fish bones and piles made of plastic, not to damage the lens. So we're prying the whole way around slowly and really careful not to break anything. I noticed that this glass is super thin, so just keep that in mind. Now we have the lens removed from the whole taillight, and we're starting to dismantle the whole thing. This all feels like a jigsaw puzzle. Now we're unscrewing quite a lot of the motherboards that work on the back side and the underside of the taillight, and as you can see, we're taking apart a bunch and unscrewing a lot of screws from the motherboard. And I would say this is the main motherboard that is controlling the taillight. And you can see these futuristic design parts that we're taking off, and is the day running light and the brake lights. So what we're gonna do next is now trying to find out which hub is controlling which diode. Yeah, this is gonna take a while, so I'm speeding up the process for you. So what Atle is actually doing here is connected two batteries to an old LED strip that we had laying around in the workshop, trying to find out which diodes powers up through the hubs on the motherboard. So now he's tracing out what diodes are powered, and you could see that we found out where the turn lights are, and now we're focusing on the brake light and the day running lights. Focusing over to soldering and connecting these hubs together, so we only have one cable going out for each element. So what I mean with element is that I just want to have one cable for the turn signal, one cable for the day running light, and one cable for the brake lights. So it makes it a lot easier for us to connect onto the taillight in the back from the 12 watt that we're gonna have from the MK3.
And now for the fun part, after being done with tracing out the diodes, getting it to work, I'm gonna now power up the 12 volt or the lights on the car. So guys, I really want to show you the function of the taillights and how they look on the car. It looks freaking amazing. Please brace yourself, because I think this came out so freaking good. Almost showed you there. So in 3, 2, 1. I think this came out sick, guys. So the middle bar is lighting up, and this is now the powered taillights on the Golf MK3 from an ID4, ID5, and yeah, I really can't get that we managed to get this far in this video. And yes, they're not done yet, because this is the daylight, and then we have the brake lights, and of course we have the brake lights even in here. But now we got the daylight running on the taillights from the ID4, ID5. Oh, it's freaking cool. I think it's coming together quite well with the wide body. And please write in the comment section below, what do you think about the taillight conversion onto my MK3? So this is a 94 with some taillights from a 2022 car, and I really am happy with the result, and I really did have it in me to take the risk to modify this back end for the taillights mainly. And yes, everyone's asking, so when we glued this together, here you have the middle. So what I'm gonna do here, I think I'm gonna have an emblem that's maybe Magas Design emblem here. But what I did is that I plastic welded it from the backside, and then I used a special epoxy for the glass or the plastic. And now I just put a thin layer of clear coat over it with some black paint in the middle. Any tips now would be really appreciated. If you know emblems, Volkswagen emblems that light up or something else, I don't know, just write it down below, because I'm a little bit empty of ideas right now. I'm just gonna end the video with a really nice B-roll of the taillights, and thank you for watching. And as I said, please subscribe to this channel and like, and I hope you want to stick around to the channel. So as I always say, have a good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever you are. B-roll.